Today, we're tackling something that really shapes our lives, often without us even noticing it. Overcoming limiting beliefs. Those internal stories, the assumptions we make that can kind of hold us back from what we're capable of. We've gathered a whole stack of sources for this: practical guides, psych research, some really inspiring personal stories, even TEDx talks. Our mission today, basically, cut through the noise, give you a shortcut to understanding how to spot, challenge, and genuinely rewrite those thoughts that might be keeping you stuck, whether that's personal stuff or your career. Get ready for some pretty surprising facts and definitely some actionable insights. So let's unpack this a bit. We hear things like, "Oh, I'm too old for that," or "I'll never find a job I actually like. Maybe I'm just not good enough." Classic examples, right? But what are they really, beyond just a negative thought?
Well, it's fascinating, actually. Limiting beliefs are essentially these deeply ingrained convictions, assumptions we have about ourselves or other people or just the world in general, and we mistakenly treat them as absolute truths. Often they're subconscious, acting like these filters. They color how we see things, how we make decisions. Think of them like self-imposed fences. They exist mainly in your mind. And the really tricky part, they can become self-fulfilling prophecies because you act as if they're true.
That self-fulfilling prophecy idea is huge. It's like we're programming ourselves without realizing it.
Exactly. Now, we should clarify, not all limiting beliefs are bad, necessarily. Like the belief stealing is wrong, that's a useful one, right? It limits behavior we don't want.
Sure, keep society functioning.
Right. Our focus today is on the ones that unnecessarily stop us. Stop us from chasing our goals or, becoming who we want to be. And they generally fall into maybe 3 buckets. First, beliefs about yourself, like I'm not creative, or Mark Manson talked about believing I'm bad at writing, even when he became this huge bestseller.
Wow.
Or that classic I'm too old or I'm too young thing. People use the same reason to avoid the same thing, just flipped.
Yeah, I've heard that one.
Then there are beliefs about the world. Things like people will judge me, or the system's rigged, no one will let me succeed. Sometimes even warped ideas like I'm special, which sounds positive, but it can be an excuse for not putting in the effort.
Oh, interesting. Like a backdoor excuse.
Exactly. And prejudice fits here too. Broad societal ideas get internalized as personal limits. And the third category is beliefs about life in general, like, oh, I've missed the boat, someone else already did it. Right. Or the big one, I don't have enough time. Which, let's be honest, often really means it's not important enough to me.
Oof.
Oh.
That hits home. Okay, so these aren't facts. They hold us back unnecessarily.
Yeah.
It's kind of wild to think they have an origin point. Where do these things even start? How do they get lodged in our heads?
That's a really crucial question. Because, connecting it back, most limiting beliefs aren't things we consciously choose. They're learned, absorbed almost, often subtly from our environment. Not like someone sits you down and teaches you, you're not good enough.
Right. It's more insidious than that.
Totally. So common origins. Definitely childhood experiences and conditioning. Dr. Iram Tahir points out that a lot of core beliefs get formed between 0 and 6 years old.
Wow, that early.
Yeah, when we're just soaking everything up and really looking for parental approval. So ideas, good ones like don't steal, or limited ones like money is scarce or I need to be perfect, can get passed down through generations. Nicole Celestine gave an example of Haley, who believed she wasn't attractive just because her parents kept comparing her to her sister. That comparison became her reality.
Man, that's rough.
It really is. Then there are hereditary experiences, not genes, but patterns of thinking and behaving reinforced by how we were raised, what we saw modeled. Another big source is fear or excuses. The belief pops up as a defense mechanism, trying to shield us from potential frustration, failure, disappointment based on past hurts.
Like a mental bodyguard that's a bit overzealous?
Exactly. It protects you, but maybe protects you from opportunity too. And of course, social circles and societal norms are huge. The people we hang out with, cultural messages, constant comparison, especially now with social media, right? It breeds inadequacy.
Oh, definitely.
And finally, past failures or rejections. A setback can plant a seed of doubt that grows into a full-blown limiting belief. Like you struggle in one English class and suddenly you believe, I can't write, period, until you challenge it.
Okay, that makes a lot of sense. They're learned, they're protective in a weird way sometimes.
Yeah.
So what's the upshot for everyone listening? If they're just learned things, not necessarily true, why is it so important to actually deal with them? Why bother digging all this up?
That's the million-dollar question, isn't it? Because these beliefs, well, maybe trying to keep us safe, effectively keep us trapped in our comfort zones. They seriously limit our growth, personally and professionally. They limit what goals we even think are possible. They shape our perceptions, our reactions, often totally unconsciously. And honestly, they're often the root cause of a lot of psychological issues, like those automatic negative thoughts or ANTs.
Right, the A&Ts.
Yeah, they fuel doubt. They actively stop us from taking action on big goals. Dr. Melanie McNally made a great point. We often treat these beliefs like facts. We cling to them like lifelines, even though it's totally false logic.
Like a security blanket that's actually holding you down.
Perfectly put. And the cost is real. Lost time, missed opportunities, just living a smaller life than you could be. But the flip side is huge. By overcoming them, you can unlock potential you didn't even know you had. Talents, abilities. You boost your self-confidence, your self-esteem. You start expanding that comfort zone, embracing challenges instead of running from them.
Which leads to more success.
Exactly. More success, better relationships too, because you're more authentic, more trusting, more vulnerable when you're not hiding behind these beliefs. The big takeaway is, often you are your biggest obstacle. Just imagine a life where you're not constantly self-sabotaging, where you actually go for it instead of shying away because of some fear that isn't even real.
Okay, I'm sold on the why.
Yeah.
It's clearly crucial. Now, the practical bit, how do we actually spot these things in ourselves? They're sneaky, right?
Yeah.
Like you said, often subconscious. How do we catch them?
It definitely takes work, self-awareness, introspection, becoming a bit of a detective of your own mind, looking for clues.
Okay, detective hat on. What are the clues?
All right, first method, look for the why. Think about something you really want to achieve, but you're just not doing it. Ask yourself why. That justification, that reason you give yourself, that's often the limiting belief right there, the excuse keeping you stuck.
Because in the sentence.
Exactly. Second, listen to your inner voice. Pay attention to those negative thoughts, especially when you doubt yourself or face something new. Look for those really absolute statements. This is just how I am. I've always been this way. This always happens to me.
Those sweeping generalizations.
Precisely. Third, identify red flag phrases like I can't, I have to, or I'm not good at. Big red flags. Also, watch out for the word should. I should be better at this. Often hides a belief like I'm currently inadequate.
Should is a tricky one.
Very. Okay, fourth, and this one's really powerful, the downward arrow technique. It comes from CBT, Socratic questioning. You basically keep asking yourself, and if that were true, what does that mean about me? Over and over.
Or how does that work?
So say you think I'm introverted. Ask, and if that's true, what does it mean about me? Maybe you get, people don't expect much from me. Ask again, and what does that mean about me? Perhaps, I don't have much to say. Again, what does that mean? Maybe you land on, I don't add value. Bingo. That's often the deep core belief hiding under the surface label of introverted. It's about digging past the easy answers.
That sounds intense, but revealing.
It can be. Fifth, observe your daily reactions and inner speech. Neville Goddard talked about this. Your reactions reveal your psychological home base. Monitor that running commentary in your head about people, events, yourself. Like if checking your bank balance always makes you feel dread and the thought is money just disappears, that reveals a belief about lack, not just a financial reality.
Your gut reactions.
Exactly. Sixth, recognize cognitive distortions. These are those faulty thinking patterns, like catastrophizing, always jumping to the worst case, or mind reading, assuming you know what others think, or fortune telling, predicting negative outcomes.
Gotcha.
You can also use worksheets, structured prompts like I am, other people are, the world is, blah, blah, blah. Sometimes seeing it written down helps. And finally, don't underestimate just talking it out with a trusted friend, family, mentor. Sometimes they hear the patterns you miss.
Okay, that's a great toolkit for finding them. That downward arrow one especially sounds like necessary but uncomfortable mental surgery. So once you've pinned one down, now what? The real work starts, right? Challenging it, rewriting it. How to go from I can't to actually believing I can.
Yeah, this is where the transformation happens. And it is a process. It takes time, repetition, but it's totally doable and incredibly freeing. The absolute first step, the foundation, is to genuinely recognize that the belief is just a belief. It's not a fact etched in stone. It's probably almost certainly untrue in its absolute form.
So separating the thought from reality.
Precisely. Then start challenging it directly. First tactic, simply ask, what if I'm wrong? Just entertaining that possibility, what if this belief isn't true, can loosen its grip significantly. What if you could find a great partner despite past heartbreak? What if you can learn that new skill? It opens a door.
Create some mental space.
Exactly. Then get more rigorous. Question its validity. Ask tough questions. Is there any real objective evidence for this? Did I always believe this? When did it start? Is there any evidence, even small stuff, that contradicts it? What would it feel like to believe the opposite? Is this belief actually helping me reach my goals? Or is it actively stopping me? And a good one. How would someone I admire think about this situation?
Putting it on trial, basically.
Pretty much. It's also really useful to understand the why you hold it. Limiting beliefs often have a hidden payoff, right? Maybe it protects you from trying and failing. Maybe it gets you sympathy. Poor me, I can't do X. Ask yourself, is that hidden benefit really worth the limitation? Usually it's not.
Facing the hidden payoffs. Okay.
Then you move into cognitive restructuring. This is the therapy term, but basically you identify and actively dispute the irrational thought. You don't just wish it away. You consciously create an alternative belief, one that's empowering, realistic, and serves you better. So instead of I'm not good enough, maybe it becomes I'm not perfect, but I'm learning and growing constantly and I have valuable strengths. It needs to feel believable to you.
Right, not just empty positive thinking.
Exactly. Then, a really powerful step. Test alternative beliefs with behavioral experiments. Treat your new belief like a hypothesis. Go test it in the real world. Mark Manson calls it trying on new genes. If you believe people only like perfection, intentionally make a small, harmless mistake socially. See what happens. Often people barely notice or are supportive.
Ooh, that's brave.
It is. Or if you think you're awkward, commit to talking to 5 new people at a party. Collect data. Your actions can powerfully disprove your old beliefs.
Action as evidence. I like that.
Then there's functional imagery training, or FIT. This uses vivid, multisensory imagination. You picture future success in detail, what you see, hear, feel, smell, the emotions, the movement. Mentally rehearsing success like this actually activates the same brain areas as doing it for real. It builds pathways.
So visualizing with all senses.
Yes. Imagine the relief after that tough conversation, not just the conversation itself. Use a cue, like a deep breath, to trigger that positive image when you feel the old belief creeping in. And definitely leverage the body-mind connection. Dr. Iram Tahir's point, saying, I am powerful, feels totally different slumped over versus sitting tall.
Yeah, posture makes a huge difference.
It does, and Dr. Bruce Lipton's work on how beliefs literally affect our cells, epigenetics, is mind-blowing. Our perceptions change our biology. Techniques like PSYCHK try to synchronize brain hemispheres to make changing subconscious beliefs easier, like rewriting the code.
Rewriting the code. Okay.
And finally, there's Neville Goddard's law of assumption. It's a bit more metaphysical, but the core idea is potent. An assumption, even if it feels false now, if you persist in feeling it as true, it will eventually manifest. The key is persuading your subconscious, making the feeling of the wish fulfilled feel natural. Persist in that feeling, especially before sleep. Your last thought programs your subconscious.
That's a really interesting take. Persisting in the feeling.
Yeah.
But it sounds like it needs real commitment, right? Not just wishful thinking. This definitely isn't a one-time fix, is it? How do we make these new, better beliefs actually stick?
Absolutely not one and done. You're right. Commitment is key. It's like building muscle requires consistent effort and repetition.
Okay, so how do we keep the momentum going? Reinforce the new pathways.
Right. Reinforcement strategies. First, affirmations. But maybe not just repeating them mindlessly. Read your new beliefs out loud. Feel them. Or try phrasing them as questions. Why am I so capable? Why do good things happen to me? This prompts your brain to actively seek evidence for the belief.
Turning it into a question.
Yeah, it engages the mind differently. Second, visualize success regularly. Spend 5 minutes a day really seeing, hearing, feeling the results you want as if they're already here. Creates anticipation, aligns your brain. Third, and maybe the most crucial, take action. Small, consistent action. If the old belief was, I'm too old to exercise, the new one is, it's never too late. Action. A 15-minute walk today, tomorrow too. Like one source said, often the action has to come before the belief feels totally solid. Act as if, and the evidence starts building.
Act your way into the new belief.
Exactly. Fourth, consciously embrace a growth mindset. This is huge. Believing your abilities aren't fixed, that you can develop them through effort. Seeing challenges as chances to learn, not tests of your inherent worth. It's the opposite of a fixed mindset.
Growth versus fixed. Got it.
Fifth, actively gather new evidence. Keep a log, even mentally. Note every time your new belief proves true, however small. Celebrate those wins. Momentum is everything. Sixth, upgrade your environment. Surround yourself with people, books, podcasts, whatever, that reinforce growth and your new beliefs. Find friends who've overcome similar things. Their stories are proof it's possible.
Your input shapes your outlook. Makes sense.
Seventh, seriously consider mentoring or coaching. Having that external support perspective and accountability can be massive for identifying and shifting beliefs. A good mentor pushes you past perceived limits. And finally, maybe underpinning all of this, practice self-compassion. Be kind to yourself. This is hard work. You'll slip up. Treat yourself like you treat a friend going through the same thing with understanding, patience, encouragement.
Beating yourself up definitely doesn't help. Okay, wow. That's a lot to take in, but incredibly powerful stuff. And that brings us towards the end of this deep dive. We've really explored one of the most fundamental shifts you can make, starting to rewrite that inner script, taking back control over your potential. It's moving from just reacting to actively creating your experience.
Which really leads to an important question for everyone listening.
Well,
What is one small, concrete action you can take, maybe even just this week, to start testing one of your newly reframed beliefs? Remember Josh Goffman's point. There's basically nothing you're fundamentally incapable of learning or doing. It takes time, it takes effort, sure, but you will improve if you make that effort. The goal isn't just to get by, right? It's to move beyond surviving to actually thriving.
absolutely. You're never fully expanded. There's always more room to grow. Just make sure you're not the one blocking the door. Keep questioning those thoughts. Keep believing in your own evolution and keep growing.